Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston, We Have a Problem. Wednesday. I don't know what the date is. 20th? October 20th, 2021. Livecast 59. I've got nothing. Today kind of traded sideways. Everything just kind of went meh. And that's what the day was like. So, I leave it up to you, gentle viewer, to give me things to talk about. Because I got nothing right off the bat at all. But you guys are popping up in the chat already, so there you go. Let's see here. Well, it's a sunny day in Saskatchewan. I'm sure it's starting to get a bit nipply out there. Because, well, it's Saskatchewan. But you're looking forward to that winter. So, it's raining in Northern California. And we got William Morgan saying B-Big will bounce back after the audit. Yeah, B-Big took a nice little leap and then flattened out at what, 6 something. But they pushed back the dividends. They're giving out some sort of stock in another company that does stuff with crypto, I guess. And they were planning on doing that for the 15th. And now the date of record is going to be the 22nd, which is Friday. And 60 days post that is when they plan on issuing the dividends, before the end of the year. So there's going to be some sort of magic happening with that. Greg Nielsen, can you talk more about what would happen if MMTLP turns into a private oil company? Can you still sell shares of a private company? How does it work? That's a good question because as far as I know, the MMTLP was never supposed to be tradable in the first place. It's supposed to be locked in your account, and that's where it's going to stay until the dividend is issued or it converts. Now, if it becomes a private company, one that is not tradable, I don't know what that does to those shares. That's a good question. So there are other companies that are private and still have shares that trade. And that's one of the ways that these evil short sellers manage to short sell things. Was it the Eagle Tech? Oh, shoot. What was the company in that? There's a documentary about short selling. And this guy made it so you can make phone calls over the internet and made this company that's going to fly high. And then Solomon Smith Barney was going to do the IPO. And they took the few shares they had pre-IPO and just naked shorted the hell out of them. Just absolutely just obliterated them. And they weren't supposed to be trading, but they're still trading on the OTC or something. So there are ways that these shares that shouldn't trade still get traded and seem to happen usually over the OTC. So I'd be really curious to see what happens if we get shares of this oil company. And also I'm curious to see because they're doing drilling right now. They have to drill X number of times a year or something on the land to guarantee the lease. So I'm curious to see what the findings are about the drilling. Because I think it was at $57 a barrel was the target price. But when they'd done the drilling, oil was like below 30, and now it's over 80. So it should be making money if they want to actually suck oil out of the ground. Dr. Stonk, he super chats, can you encapsulize fish with a categorizing system similar to your bird system? You got what? Goldfish? Not goldfish. Salmon? Not salmon. Shark? Not shark? Does that work? Might have to throw in a guppy, not guppy in there. That'd probably work pretty well. What else would fall in that category? As long as we leave out invertebrates, I think we're cool. Okay. Well, Good Vibes has a coordinate. Let's see what Good Vibes is. And this looks like somewhere in the desert. 33 degrees north, 116 west. Let's see where we're going. Turn on the Google Earth. Come on, click. I need to get a system that does not have a tripod blocking half my monitors here. Okay. Where are we going? We're going there. Nope. Can't understand. What? Oh, that's a period, not a comma. Okay. Does that work? There we go. Going to the desert. 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 And we are here at this place. What is this place? Looks like a truck stop? What are you? Cabazon Dinosaurs. Oh, the dinosaurs on the side of the road. There we go. Get all the way down there. There we go. Boom. Wait, that's a truck. I'm in the back of a truck. I'm on a truck. There's some guy. Look at that guy. There's the dinosaurs. Hey, buddies. It's a nice flatbed you got there. You got a Burger King. Got dinosaurs. Not too shabby. I wonder if they're going to ever like update the dinosaurs and put feathers on them. They should do that for the next Jurassic Park. They should make them all feathery. Just be like, whoops. We didn't know. Like iridescent feathers. Excellent. Excellent spot. Exit Street View. Dinosaurs. Oh. Go back north so we know where we are. Okay. All right. Oh, son of a... God dang it. No one told me to turn it off this time. I blame you. I blame all of you. Okay. Well, we got that out of the way. Now it's turned off. Comfy Sofa asks, your thoughts on the AI system being implemented? I think it's probably good. The payment for order flow system. So there's... How do I put this? So when not trading like micro cap stocks, generally you trade your stocks, it's going to go to the cents decimal place. So you're trading it for $41.52. Not trading it for $41.52 and 5/100ths or whatever. So it's not going to 4 decimal places. It's only going to 2. Now, the idea with payment for order flow is you put it in an order for $41.52. They find it for $42, 51 cents and 99/100ths after that. They pocket that little bit and that's how they make their money. But what Citadel was doing was they were delaying your order by days, weeks, or months. They could find it super cheap and pocket a big ol' bunch of cash. And they kept getting fined for this. And the IEX, which is a dark pool exchange that does this payment for order flow stuff, basically was upset. It was like, you guys shouldn't be allowed to do this. This is wrong. You are not benefiting the customer. You are violating the law, and you shouldn't be doing this. So they're in a lawsuit with each other over that. And IEX does this payment for order flow, but does it on it's microsecond standard. I mean, I think it's like 350 microseconds or something is the how long they wait from when you place the order to when they buy. And they're just making little microcents off every single solitary transaction, billions of transactions a day, and that's how they make their money. Whereas Citadel was like, not enough. I want the price of this thing to drop more. And what they would do is they would trade ahead of their customer. So they'd be like, oh, all these customers want to buy this thing at $30. Well, we'll put a synthetic in their account, and then for the next month, we'll drive the price down on the stock to $25, and then we'll buy up all those stocks, pocket the $5, and then we'll finally put the shares in their accounts. And that stuff is completely illegal. And Citadel is trying to... Oh, you right there, buddy? You little snurfer? Okay. All right. So they... That's what this whole... What are you doing over there? You got a boogie? Is a string going to come out of your nose again? That was the last time she did this. A string went boink out of her nose. Come on. Here, everyone can watch. You want to record it? Yeah. Hope that's going into your ear holes really well. The dog snorting. Oh yeah, get it. Snort it. Snort it, buddy. Snort it. Do it. Oh, little buddy. There you go. All right, there's monkey snurfing for you. All right. Yeah, she gets the snurf. So, they got a big long nose. Sometimes a boogie gets stuck in there. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Citadel breaking the law. So essentially, one of the possible outcomes of this lawsuit is Citadel being forced to follow an artificial intelligence that does this microseconds pause before enacting trades, so they do not have the option of delaying those trades for their customers. So that just flows through automatically, and what you get is what you get. So that's kind of what is in play here. So hope that makes sense, everyone. With the brief pause of the monkey butt going all snurfy and everybody. Okay. Nope, writes Houston. Getting the feeling Pandora Papers were meant to scare new apes from getting the notion that we can use corporate structures and tax havens to protect our new wealth. Thoughts? Nah. I mean, you can still use corporate structures and tax havens to protect your new wealth, because you just don't want to be a European to do it, because apparently they keep leaking all the European stuff. If you're a European trying to offshore money, you're screwed, because someone's going to leak it. If you're an American offshoring money, apparently no one leaks that stuff, and you get through it just fine. Well, a couple of the criminals got caught, but they still can't get their money because it's all hidden all over the world in different accounts. But, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of apes who are going to try to go this route, and because they don't have experience doing it, they may trip and stumble. We might read about some fantastic stories about entire bank accounts being raided and people going to prison. So, give us some more entertainment later. But just pay your taxes. And if you want to pay your taxes, donate a bunch of money to some sort of charity and do it that way. It's pretty easy. Okay. Chakuseki. I read an article that Citadel's AI will switch over from payment for order flow to MFOF, which is Mayo for order flow. Helps lube the stocks. Wouldn't it be amazing, like, if we had the old system where the trading certificates back and forth or whatever, and like you get certificates that just have like coffee rings on them, or dried cheese from someone's lunch. You don't get that tangible, je ne sais quoi of humanity when it's all done electronically. Or like the bicycle messenger who's taking it from one broker to the other just gets absolutely smoked by a taxi cab, and you've got like shoe prints and stuff on the stock certificates as people are trying to gather them up. They're blowing all over the city and are lost forever because it's a crappy rainy day. That's the type of risk that should be involved with trading stocks, I think. Uzonis, Houston, why does light emission from phosphorescent so much longer than fluorescent? Phosphorescence is a bioluminescence, isn't it? Am I right about that? Phosphorescence? I might have to look that up. Make sure I'm not talking on my butt here. Okay. Oh no, phosphorescence and fluorescence are based on the ability to sustain or absorb light and emit light for a longer wavelength, therefore lower energy. The main difference is time, which it takes to do so. So like when someone says something fluoresces, what I think of is I go out diamond hunting, and one of the things you can do out in the Rockies diamond hunting is you can walk around with a UV light, like a very powerful UV light, and shine it on the ground, and some diamonds will actually fluoresce. They'll like glow like bright green or bright blue. under that UV light. They do so. Every diamond does that under X-ray, but I can't carry on an X-ray machine and not give myself oodles of cancer. And so you might find anthills and things like that the diamond's been pulled out by the creatures. So you shine the light on it, and if it glows, blah, you might have yourself a diamond. So you pick that sucker out. Phosphorescence, I think. How's phosphorescence works? Oh yeah, so if it disappears immediately. So phosphorescence is like glow in the dark stickers. It absorbs the light and then emits it at a lower wavelength over a period of time. So kind of stores energy. It's like a capacitor in a way. And then fluorescence is it immediately reflects essentially the light back to you at a different wavelength. Then when the source of light disappears, it turns off. So the minute I turn off my UV light, I don't see the diamonds fluorescing in the anthills anymore. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I'll have to read up on that one to see exactly what the difference is. But, it's like translucent versus transparent. There you can, tweaks to it make the difference. Okay. When will the AI take over the stock exchange? That's doing all the trading for us. The robots will do everything. That's what we're going to be stuck with. We'll just be passive. The robots will do everything. We'll just be passive idiots, just letting them do everything. Bill Coyne, if I'm going to hide my money, I'll do it the legal way, the American way. John DeJesus, Houston, Spinosaurus versus T-Rex. Who would win? Why? I don't know my dinosaurs at all. I'm a terrible geologist. Oh, it's this thing with the fin. Oops, let me turn on the... I gotta go Chrome, turn off the Google Earth. Boom. It's this guy with the little spiny thing. Images. Well, it's got that little sail on its back. That's pretty cool. Okay. I mean, it looks lithe. It looks lithe. It looks like it can, ruin your day if it really wanted to. How big is it? How big are you? Hey, monkey. No bones. No bones, buddy. No bones. No bones. Come on. Back up there. Back up there. Come on. No, monkey. No bones. No bones. Back up there. Come on. Come on. Sorry, she's gonna she brought the biggest bone in, and that thing is like a 808 kick drum. Sorry, bud, I know you're gonna be just a boring, lame dog. And you know what we'll do? We'll just put the blanket over you like a parakeet, and you go to sleep. There you go. All right. Yeah, how big are these things? They're 14 to 23 feet tall. That's pretty big. Sounds about the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's see, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex, 12 to 20 feet tall. Well, it looks like Tyrannosaurus Rex is a bit stockier than the Spinosaurus, but its jaws look way more powerful. Spinosaurus is like those alligator-looking jaws, but alligators, they got some serious bite strength for having those long, lanky jaws. Man, who would win? I'm going to go with the Spinosaurus just because it's got that sweet fin like a 1950s Cadillac, so, you just got to hand it to the older models, right? Let's go with that. I'm just pulling that out of my butt. And we'll have to probably see the next Jurassic Park movie who actually wins that fight. Christopher Sawjuk, Super Chats. Everything you just said about shoe prints and coffee stains on stock certificates should make a debut in a stonk noir starring Gumshoe Wade. She walked in my office. She was all dame. Had gams that would go for days. All right. Where's that Spinosaurus question? I got a Spinosaurus. Chakuseki rehypothecated mayo spreads and puts. And wait, someone just said be big. Be big just did an after hours thing. What am I looking at? Be big. Oh, be big didn't do anything. Be big's not doing anything. It's just laying there like a dead fish at the moment. But all right. Comfy Sofa. Hey, Houston, another one. Do you think RC, Ryan Cohen, is in talks with Gigi, Gary Gensler, on a scheduled release of the NFT platform? Happy birthday. I don't think there would be specific talks. I don't think they would go, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to release it on this day. There may have been, over the course of investigations into the trading of GME stock, questions about it. Like, hey, rumors are you're going to be releasing some sort of NFT. Can you tell us what it is? And they may be able to reveal some of it to SEC folks. But I don't know if there'd be any exact communication that wasn't, say, subpoenaed out of them or asked in an investigative capacity of GameStop regarding the NFT platform. But you know, stranger things have happened. I think there'd be a case for lawsuits and collusion if they were talking to each other about this stuff. Like, hey, we're going to screw the shorts on this one. But the way that the report was written was basically, hey, all these hedge funds and market makers tell us there's no naked shorting going on. So therefore, we're going to act like there's no naked shorting going on, even though there's naked shorting going on. Wink. So that means, like, I think that says to GME is do your thing. Do your thing. And if they're telling the truth, nothing will happen. If they're lying, they're screwed. And that's what I think that whole GME thing will be, well, the NFT thing will be about. Will be like, hey, you guys said everything's all right. So if we release this thing, then there should be no issue, correct? And if there's an issue, then everybody was lying. And it's going to be catching them in all their lies. I mean, just like releasing the crypto dividend for Overstock, you know, it took 90 days. But in the end, it squeezed. Everyone was lying. So I wouldn't doubt they're lying again. William Morgan asks, GME could set up the NFT process that make money doing it for other companies? Maybe that team can be a team that says, okay, we will NFT your entire stock, put it on a blockchain, transfer over to Loopring, and then people can't naked short you anymore. It would be very, very, very attractive for companies that are currently trading on the OTC to do it that way, because they want to raise money to do whatever they want without having to like go through the IPO on a big exchange, and then they find themselves just getting hammered, and their stock price drives down and down and down and down. So then they can't use stocks as an incentive, and they got to print even more stocks to make money, but they sell for such puny amounts. It's a nightmare. So if there could be some sort of system to blockchain all of those stocks faster and before the New York Stock Exchange and others get around to actually doing it, this would be a game changer, man. oh my fucking God. Houston, do you have any uranium glass sculptures? I don't have any. I had a clock, a radium dial clock, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if a roommate stole it at some point, but the last couple of moves, I have not seen it. But if you guys don't know about the uranium dial clocks, they're pretty freaky. Basically, someone died to make that clock. And radium dial, not uranium, uranium dial clocks. So back in the day, if you wanted to see a clock at night, you would paint on radium onto the dial of the clock so that when you roll over at night, you can see it kind of glow green. You know what time it was. Well, that painting was all done by hand. And that painting was all done by hand by single young women in Canada. And they would answer an ad in the paper, get picked up, taken by train, I think was it Ontario where they ended up? Somewhere on the Tules. And they would be taught to, you know, paint these dials using radium paints. And what they would do is they would take the paintbrush and they would twist it in their mouth, get a nice little point to it, and they could paint it very easily, then dip it in the radium, whatever, twist it. And they would last 3 to 6 weeks before they got weird cancers and died. And then they would put out an ad, bring a bunch more women from somewhere across Canada, drop them off, and then they would die a few weeks later. And this went on for decades. before people caught on, like, seems like every woman who goes off to this job just dies of weird cancer suddenly. So they stopped making radium dial clocks as a result. There was a documentary about it. Documentary. I can't spell save my life. Radium dial painters, glow in the dark, Radium Girls. That's what it was. Oh no, this is a drama. So there's a drama about it called Radium Girls that came out last year. I haven't seen that. There's another documentary from '87 called Radium City. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. Ottawa, Illinois. That's why I'm thinking Canada, because it's called Ottawa. Ottawa, Illinois was the name of the town where they would get sent. That's why I was thinking it was Canadians. Nope, it was Americans, just using a Canadian named city. Yeah. The radium girls, they just got wiped out by these things. Pretty crazy. But no, I don't have any uranium glass sculptures. So they're really pretty. They're kind of like these crazy green glass. Jeffrey Schaefer, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, 543605. Let's go. We got, might as well do a day of, not much in the news. Might as well do our Google Earthing, right? Pew! We are going to Europe. We're going to Ireland. We're in Ireland. We are in Ireland. We are at a bridge somewhere in Ireland. And looks like another fish. The big fish. That's where we are. Okay, big fish. People really like making big things, don't they? That's a big fish. Is it glass? Are those glass tiles? Or is that like porcelain or something? It's a big fish. Ireland. You got yourselves a big fish as well. Which Irish city? We're in Belfast here? Which Irish city are we in? I have no idea. I wasn't really paying that much attention. We are in Belfast, yeah. Belfast, you got a big fish. Good job, Belfast. Get Real asks, Houston, you think La Palma volcano is going through a natural gas or oil pocket, like it's being said, with all the black and white smoke pouring out the last couple of days? No, black and white smoke will pour out. The white smoke is usually steam, and black smoke is just ash that comes out. You wouldn't have oil appearing or natural gas appearing in a place like that. The land is too new. So if we go back to the thing here, so where you get oil and gas, at least ocean-wise, is going to be on continental shelves. So you got continental shelves here, Sierra Leone, Liberia, so on. We can go down to Nigeria, and on the continental shelf here, there's tons of oil. So they suck this oil out. And that's a result of erosion covering up detritus and creatures and getting pressed into oil and methane, natural gas. And the process of the ocean levels rising and dropping. So that's how you cover a lot of old living things that are now dead things, and they decay and get pressurized by rock and turned into oil. Whereas places like the Canary Islands, this is fairly, geologically speaking, it's fairly new. There isn't much living things that have decayed and been pressed by sediment. Like, remember, this is billions of years old. This is hundreds of millions of years old, at maybe that. So about 250 million years ago, the spreading ridge appeared that bisects the Atlantic Ocean, and it spreads outwards. And so, the closer you get to the seam of the spreading ridge, this stuff could be, days or weeks old, maybe hours. And this stuff might be, hundreds of years, thousands of years, millions of years the further out you get. And when you get to Canary Islands, at most, you're probably looking at 150 to 200 million years old. And there just isn't enough life to have been buried and turned into natural gas or oil at this point for it to do anything for the volcanoes that pop out here. It's just a hotspot volcano on an ocean, so lots of water gets in, lots of groundwater seeps in, and so when you see white smoke, you're actually seeing lots of steam, explosive steam that gets released. It's not actually smoke, and maybe silica-rich ash as a result of mixing with water as well. So, all right, what's this island? I don't know if I've ever been to this island. Madeira. All right. Yeah. So that's how I'd answer that. Legacy 10 Productions, Houston. What are some catalysts for metamaterials to squeeze? What is your opinion, George? What's your opinion on George, I guess? And how high do you think it should go? I think now I was hoping that the failure to deliver dates would have made it pop, double digits. But they seem to manage to reset every single one of those things. And right now, I think they're shorting it again. I think it's getting crushed by short attacks. The catalysts at this point is that they have to either issue a dividend or switch that MMTLP preferred share stock into stock for that new oil company. They have to do that by December 31st. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to probably happen as a result of that dividend. I mean, if they sell the lands and we get $10 to $20 per share, that's a big reason for the price to go on metamaterial stock, or the MMTLP shares themselves. When Overstock issued the placeholder for their crypto dividend, their preferred share for their crypto dividend, it started trading when everything was squeezing. The stock itself went to 160, and then the preferred share went to like $87. So, my guess is it'll probably be result of whatever decision is made by the end of the year, and then it might take a couple of months, because it took a couple of months with Overstock from when they issued everything. It took like 90 days for it to go and squeeze everything. So I wouldn't doubt if it could squeeze like Overstock did, get into $100 or more. That'd be pretty awesome. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I still have some options left for January. I was discussing with someone online, and he bought a bunch for April, and that might be the lotto ticket way to go, because if it takes 90 days from first of the year, you're looking at April. Gotta go through January, gotta go through February, gotta go through March, and then if you're in April, you're at your 90 days. So that might be a good idea. I may throw some lotto tickets at that and see what happens. Demetris, oops, shoot, where'd he go? There you are. Dimitri, TS. Hello from Cyprus, Houston. I have a question for you that you might know. We don't have a vast option for brokers, and I'm holding with Revolt, which they deal with a third-party broker. The way different EU countries do stock trading, like brokering, in the U.S., seems to vary. There's some folks who seem to like buy it straight on the Frankfurt exchange. Others manage to somehow do it through U.S. exchanges. And then a third group, what appears to be is that they have a holding company. And that holding company does the buying, puts the stocks into that account. And then with your app or whatever you're using in Europe, they then sort of loosely assign permissions to the shares that are being held inside that holding company. So you don't actually have the shares. They're not even in the street name of whatever app you're using. They're in this holding company's app. And so I'm not sure the extent of what your rights are as a shareholder are with those varying apps. Sorry, Euros. I don't know how your system works that well to give you good advice on that. I'm just a dumb American. Maybe talk to one of the investment banks. You're in Cyprus. There's tons of weird banks there. I'm sure there's some of them that are laundering some Russian cash that can help you figure out how to buy stocks. If the Pandora Papers are any indication, you probably got some really handy groups in Cyprus. You guys are quite the banking haven right now. So good luck with that there, Dimitri. And you also ask, in case of MOAS, what happens if the third party goes bust? Will we get the money? I think definitely ask about the insurance policy that third party has. Because that's that weird holding company that will hold the stocks for you. And if they go belly up, that might be it. So I would definitely call Revolt and Revolut. Did I say it? Revolut. And ask them, like, hey, what kind of insurance do I have on this? What can you guarantee me? Who insures it? And for how much? And do you have protocols in place so I don't get absolutely screwed and have to come down there with a cricket bat and get my money back? Jimmy Kelly, hey Houston, could you explain the short shares go from 100 million to 87 million without upward price action occurring? Okay, so one of the theories is the market makers generated a whole bunch of naked options, puts and calls. And they made these in order to create a whole bunch of synthetic shares that they then sold those shares on the open market and drive the price down. Now, there's a difference between closing and covering. Closing is I'm out of the position, I don't owe anybody anything, and we're done. Covering is sort of I can close the position, wink, wink, but I'm not going to. And so with Reg Show requires, if you're going to naked short something, the loophole is you have to identify where shares exist that you can use to close a position should you be forced to. And you can talk to people who work for options houses and market makers and hedge funds. These guys will tell you at most what they'll do is they'll pick up the phone and they'll call their buddy over at another mutual fund or something and say, hey, Bill, do you have 1 million shares of this stock? And Bill will say, yep. Like, so if a push comes to shove, would I be able to buy those from you? And Bill will say, sure, whatever. The thing is that Bill took 15 phone calls from 15 different hedge funds that day and told them all the same thing. So when they're creating their naked synthetics that they're going to sell, they'll write, yeah, Bill has some. And then they'll sell them. And all of a sudden they met their requirements to cover. And they have now covered their position and done. So it doesn't get recorded as a short sale. It just gets recorded as a sale and not reported to S3 or FINRA or Ortex or anybody else. So that's how they do it. What had happened for a lot of these things is that they sold those synthetics. Those synthetics started getting to T35, and some of these hedge funds actually had to go out and find and borrow those shares and then replace them. And then they'd borrow some more and borrow some more. So they had shorted GameStop so much that they were borrowing already borrowed shares to cover those T35s because they're too lazy to do all the debt swaps and equity swaps and things that they're doing now. They're just like, oh, this company's dead anyway. Who gives a shit? We'll just keep borrowing and fixing those T35s. Now they're realizing, oh crap, we actually have to deliver this stuff. We need to reset these these FTDs, and we need to do it in the trickiest, squirreliest way we can. So now they're taking their debt, all these FTDs they have, and they trade them with someone else who's got those FTDs. And by swapping them and reassigning ownership, it resets the date on those failure to delivers. And it is totally sketchy, and it should not happen that way. But for some reason, that's the way it happens. And then the other thing they're doing is when the market maker sells naked into the market a whole bunch of stock, they will package it into this weird derivative called an equity swap, where they sell it all and then they give the cash to the hedge fund, and the hedge fund signs an agreement saying, I take responsibility for this naked short selling, and they pay sort of like a lending fee to the market makers. The market maker sold it all and is collecting rent on this package of naked shorts. And because they were sold naked by a market maker, they do not have to be reported to FINRA or anyone else, because that's one of the superpowers of a market maker. And because the hedge fund isn't the one who shorted it, they don't have to report it either. They're just leasing this asset. And that's all they're doing. It's a weird shell game. And that's kind of how they drive those short shares down from 100 million to whatever it's at 15% now or something ridiculous like that. And it's bonkers. It's a stupid system. And if we had a blockchain, none of that stuff would be happening. So that's how they do it. They're a bunch of squirrely monsters. And Jone de Jesus. Houston, what would happen if GME or AMC transfers to a stock market that doesn't allow short selling? Then the shorts are screwed. Like if all of a sudden GameStop was like, you know what? We're going to list ourselves on the Seoul, Korea market, and we're going to be trading out of Korea, where if you naked short sell or short sell at all, you're going to prison. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Can you picture GameStop just like picking up their headquarters and moving to Korea, leaving Texas, be like, bye Grapevine, Texas, I'm going to Korea, where they can't naked short sell. Yeah. Christopher Sawchuk, have you ever seen a Studio Ghibli film? Yeah, many died making that, allegedly, probably. Bill Coyne says the Radium Girls was much worse than depicted in the movie. I'm sure it was freaking gnarly. I mean, these ladies, their lifespan was like 3 weeks. That's how bad it was. Imagine show up to work and be like, and then 20 days later, just dead. And then some other girl comes along, and they bring a whole new crew in because they don't want them like showing up with girls who are half dying. They would just wait till they all died and then bring a whole new crew in. It's bonkers, man. Chukaseki. Houston, Donald Trump once suggested dropping a nuke in a hurricane. Let's say he did that. What would we expect? Probably really, really, really gnarly fallout. Basically, fallout's bad enough. Drop a nuclear bomb and then all this nuclear ash falls on everybody and they all get crazy radiation poisoning. Now imagine that nuclear ash falling on everybody about like 150 miles an hour. I think it would be pretty crazy. So nuclear bombs have an incredible amount of energy, but hurricanes have an incredible amount of energy. The amount of energy in a Category 4 hurricane is enough to power the United States for like 6 months. There's just a host of energy in that. So basically just combining two terrible things together and making it even worse. Be like, might as well go out there and just shoot the hurricane. Oh, take that. Pow. Go away, hurricane. Fried tater explosion. White smoke indicates a new volcano pope was elected. Someone had an AMC question here. Where'd it go? Me writes, hypothetically speaking, if you had XXX AMC, would you wait to see if it would go to $72,000 a share or sell it now and buy more GME, hypothetically speaking? Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I would just make sure that I had a decent position in GME above all else. I think it's the one that's going to be the not only the one that squeezes a whole bunch, but the one that squeezes higher. Squeezes first, squeezes higher. I am more invested in GME than I am in AMC. I've got my AMC shares, but I don't think it can squeeze the way that GME can squeeze. I hold it. It'll squeeze. It just won't do what GME does. GME is going to go bonkers in ways that no one can even accurately predict. I think it's going to be nuts. Lucidou says Madeira is the island where Cristiano Ronaldo is from. Ah, there you go. He's an islander. Yoris Yan, Houston, what do you think about the SEC GME report and the short ratio of 11% for AMC in January? Yeah. I think some of that depends about those convertible bonds and when that was recorded, right? I don't think AMC was shorted quite to the effect that GameStop was, although I think they're naked shorted like crazy. And the numbers run on that shows that. Thing about reported short ratio is that reported short ratio is self-reported, meaning people will send a CSV file to the SEC and there you go. But if they don't, no one really cares. No one really does anything about it. It's not required. So it's all self-reported and it's all sketchy as heck. And they only report the stuff that's physically borrowed. They don't report any of the naked selling. So the naked selling is the stuff that goes bonkers. I'm sure all of you folks have read the article, Trading the Stock That Wasn't. What's that what it's called? One sec. I'm going to have to go to the yield. Euromoney wrote a great article on it. Stock, sock, drawer, millions traded. Euromoney. Naked short. The curious incident shares that didn't exist. Okay. Oops. I left my Google Earth on there. No, go away, Google Earth. There we go. So this article here, this talks about the guy. I'll put it in the chat. This gentleman had a stock on the OTC, just like 2004, I believe. And he only had like 1 million shares of it out there. And he kept complaining to the SEC, like, hey, there's like 100 million shares of my stock trading every day. I'm being naked short out of existence. Do something. SEC was like, no. So what he did was he went out and found a company and he bought every single solitary share that exists. It was 1.285 million shares or something. He bought all of it. And he then got the physical certificates, put them in a sock drawer and closed the drawer and didn't touch it. And over the next 2 days, more than 60 million shares traded. It's impossible. He has all the shares. There should be no other shares out there. He has it. And they did nothing. So, yeah. So it was another company that had been actually just naked shorted like crazy. It only cost him $5,000 for the 1.285 million shares. He got the physical certificates and 37 million and 22 million shared over the next 2 days. Yep. So he actually bought more shares than ever had been existed. It's a pretty interesting thing. So lots of lawsuits. I never heard about what happened with those lawsuits. My guess is that they asked for records from the DTCC, and DTCC was like, no, and the judge was like, okay, good enough for me. That's usually how those lawsuits work. But it's a really interesting read. I recommend it. Check it out. It's like a 15-minute read, and you'll go as a result. This is the problem that the DRS has, is that you can literally lock up the entire float and no one cares. The stocks will still be trading. So this dude locked up the entire float. He owned the float. He had all the certificates in his sock drawer, and they still traded. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of naked shares were just bouncing back and forth, even though he owned the entire company. So this is, people can hope that locking everything up in ComputerShare will make a big deal, but it hasn't affected anybody in the past when the entire float's been locked up before. So it's a really interesting thing to read. I recommend it. Okay. Zach D says, what do you want to get that Citadel wins their... Oh, I think bet. Not get, bet. What do you want to bet that Citadel wins their lawsuit next week? Corruption will never end. I don't think they will. I think they'll have to settle or they'll get ruled against. I'm not betting on Citadel on this one. They've got 57 instances where they've had to pay fines over the last couple of years for breaking these rules, and I think they're going to be forced to play by those rules because there's a bunch of other rich people that are really upset at them for being terrible. William Morgan, BBig will come back. Its market cap is $622 million, but it was just acquired by Zash, which is worth $4 billion. Let's see, man. Let's get it. Got a super chat here. Christopher Sawchuk. You're going as blind Gary Gensler for Halloween, right? I don't see naked. There's no naked shorts in this room. Oh, I cannot wait for COVID to just be a thing of the past so we can Halloween party like crazy again. It's my favorite day of the year. I'm a firm believer in dressing sexy for Halloween because women shouldn't be the only ones to show a lot of skin on Halloween. And gentlemen, if you ever want to get groped by dozens of ladies at a party, don't wear very many clothes. That's the key. They'll be like, what's this? And they do it. And it's fantastic. And I highly recommend it. Okay. Felix has got coordinates for us. We are going to the subtropics. Where are we going here? Is this Caribbean? Where are we? Okay. Scene. Google Earth. Get the Google Earth on the screen going. Bing, bing, bing. Oh, going south. We're going to somewhere in the Canary Islands. Where are we? What are you? You look like a big old field. Another. God, what is with the big fish? Seriously, what is this? That's a fish. That's another big fish. What big fish are we? What a big fish we have here. Okay, so this looks like a sewage treatment plant or something. A fish pond, and it's the bones of a ichthyosaur. Is that what that is? And there's a lady enjoying her ichthyosaur. I don't know what that is. Looks like it could be a ichthyosaur. Whale? What are you? What are you? Felix, tell me, what is this? What are with these giant fish everywhere? There's a cool ichthyosaur in Berlin, Utah. Berlin, Nevada. Go. Flying around the world. Going across the oceans. Get into the high desert. Bing. So this is a ghost town in Utah. It's actually a state park now. It's pretty well preserved ghost town. It's got a nice big mill, couple of the old housing sites. But then inside, I think it's this building, they found a big giant ichthyosaur fossil. It's a big sea monster, essentially. What are we, 6,000 feet up? 6,700 feet up a mountain. So you can go and you can check out the ichthyosaur. It's really cool. There's also another ghost town down here. Is this is it Unionville? Is that what it's called? Not Unionville. Grantsville. It's a ghost town called Grantsville somewhere down here. I popped the tire and didn't actually make it. But Berlin is the only mining camp / ghost town in the whole of Nevada that didn't experience one murder. It was the safest mining camp in Nevada. That's pretty good record, because most of the old ghost towns and mining camps in Nevada, people got slaughtered like crazy. Maybe it's the majesty of their ichthyosaur, I guess. I don't know. But pretty cool. If you ever travel through Nevada, I'd recommend visiting it. Get some cool pictures in the old mill, which I think, is that the stamp mill? That might be the stamp mill right there. So stamp mills were these big like metal hammers on sort of it's like pistons of an engine. Like they were on like a crankshaft. They would just Hulk smash all the rock coming through, and then they would use that, grind it to a powder, and then they would get the gold out of it that way. Good times. All right. What we got here? We got Mooney Mike. Thanks for what you do, man. Hope all is well. Oh, thank you, Money Mike. Thank you so much. Oh, reminder, next week, next Tuesday is our charity show for the American Multiple Sclerosis Society, MS Society. So we'll be doing that next Tuesday, 12:30-ish Pacific time. Just a reminder. So... Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's some. All right. It's from Andrew. Another one. Any recent news on Sears bankruptcy hearings? Your opinion on Black Dragon now that they have people registering Ethereum wallets? Well, Black Dragon doubled and then it dropped again. So the price went up to like 7-10 thousandths and then dropped back down to where I bought in, and then spiked back up again and then dropped back down again. So I'm curious. I'm just holding it as purely a curiosity to see what happens. I don't know anything, the ins and outs of the company in any way, shape, or form. I just saw that they were doing a crypto dividend and wanted to see what happened with the stock price. And because it's microcap stock, I was able to buy 600,000 of them for, pittance and see where it goes. I guess. If I can double, triple, quadruple that investment, why not? Okay, so let's see where you want to take us here, Andrew. Nope, does not like that. Oh, that's because I put Berlin in there still. Bing, bing. There we go. Flying. We're flying. We're crossing. We're going. Where are we going? Canada? We're in Canada. We're at a point here. We are. These old gunning batteries. What is this old base? Cape Spear. Look at that. The glaciers had a field day with this rock, didn't they? This look like pretty weird big fish. Give me that street view. Give me that street view. No. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, look at that sucker. Ba-boom. Big old gunning batteries. Yeah, I like it. I dig it. Got to get those German U-boats. We've got a whole bunch of these near where I live. We fly across the U.S. again. So you got one there. Nothing going north. All going out to sea. Crazy. So... Okay. Across the U.S. Keep crossing. Keep crossing. Keep crossing. Keep crossing. Here we go. Going up, going up, going up. Here we are, Puget Sound. So the big intact ones, or sort of intact ones, there's some near Keystone. Keystone Ferry comes in here. And the gunning batteries, are they here? No, over here. Where's those batteries? They're in here somewhere. Shoot, it's been so long since I've been there. Nope, those are houses. Yeah, I thought it overlooked the ferry terminal. Shoot. Well, I can find the ones that are just south of my house. So if we go to Bombridge, there's Fort Ward State Park here. And so this inlet coming in here is the narrowest channel in the entire world that a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier can make it through. So they get guided through here, and they end up at the Bremerton Naval Shipyard, where Nimitz-class carriers can hang out and get work done. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of aircraft carrier, destroyers, all sorts of stuff, battleships, whatever. The USS Missouri used to be here. You could tour it. I got to go on the USS Missouri, but now it's in Hawaii. So these giant ships get moved through here. And during World War II, because lots of ships were being built and maintained here, they put in gun batteries at Fort Ward State Park. And it might be kind of hard to see some of them, but so they are, oh man, they're all hidden by trees. But there's gun batteries all in the trees here. Big giant concrete ones and some huge ones, bunkers up inside the trees. Everything's overgrown. And then Fort Worden up in Port Townsend has some as well. So yeah, here's the big ones. So a whole bunch up here. This is where Officer and Gentleman was filmed. It was in Fort Worden. They got these big gunning batteries, and these are really cool. There's like weird concrete spaces between some of the batteries. There's maybe the width of your head, and so as kids we would like hold hands as groups, and like 20 of us would slither through these things, end up in weird machine rooms that would, you know, move the guns back and forth. And then somewhere across on Whidbey. Oh, maybe it's here. Is this it? No, nope, those are houses. There's a complimentary gunning battery somewhere on Whidbey Island. That's Fort Casey. Ah, that's it. That's the one. Okay, found it. So they got the batteries up here as well. There's the batteries. So they, you know, want to make sure that the Japanese didn't make their way into Puget Sound to, you know, tear our shit up. So they put lots of gun batteries in here. The only place that was ever attacked on the mainland United States was at Fort Stevens in Oregon, which Fort Stevens is out in the tip, right? Clatsop Split? No, Fort Stevens. Fort Stevens. Where are you, Fort Stevens? I'm going to type you in here till I get it right. Fort Stevens. And these are really cool. Ah, I was on the right spit. So Fort Stevens is all through here, and there's some cool batteries. Point Adams Lighthouse. Where's the gunning batteries? Where are you? I know there's cool batteries in here. I know there is. Parking lots, parking lots. And you guys are just enjoying watching me just scan for parking lots, aren't you? Where are you, Fort Stevens? Not Peter Idle Road. I want Fort Stevens State Park. Just give me the batteries. There it is. Must be up here. Protecting the... Yeah, here we go. So there's cool batteries in here. This is the only place that was ever shelled by the Japanese. A Japanese submarine out in the Pacific Ocean shelled Fort Stevens State Park. It was the only spot in the mainland that got directly attacked. Other than those weird balloons that they floated over the United States, the intention was to like cause terror and explode. I think they'll end up killing like a Boy Scout 20 years later or something. But yeah, okay. I've been rambling on about that weird stuff long enough. Andrew, you got me into a nice tangent. Thank you very much. Oh goodness, I'm missing some super chats here. Matt Newton, dumb question. Houston, but is pretty much every red candle we see for GME probably them shorting it more? Can they erase their shorts if NFT is issued? They cannot erase shorts. They have to actually purchase them, because it's very likely you and I and everyone else watching the stream right now has synthetic shorts that were naked in our accounts. So that's just the gist of it right there. They can't just delete that without paying you. They have to pay you for it. You give it back to them, and then they can delete it from existence. So that's the only way they can do it. Or, that's the only way. Or they can buy a real share, probably by accident, and then they give that share to your account, and it replaces synthetic and deletes it from existence that way. So, but they really have to do lots of buying. Yeah. Not a dodo. Am I ignoring Felix's questions? Where's Felix's questions? Felix. Here's Felix talking to somebody else. Sorry. Let me see here if I can find Felix's questions. Where's Felix? There's Felix. No, talking to Dodo. Sorry. I'm not seeing Felix in here. All I see is Felix talking to Dodo, but where is the question from Felix? All right, that was... Oh, and I didn't answer any news on Sears bankruptcy hearings. The next hearing is on the 27th, I believe. Maybe the 25th. Next week. That's the next one. We'll see if any news comes out of it. But, I mean, right now, all you do is just hold on to Sears, because that's all you can do. You can't do anything else with it. You can't sell it. You can't buy it. You have it for good if you have it at this point. Okay. I'm not seeing anything from Felix. Sorry. All I see is Felix when he talks to Dodo. If he wants to pop a new question in there, I can try to answer it for him. Sorry. AAA asks, I'm 50 years old. I'm hearing people nowadays saying not only women can have babies. Can you explain to me how that works? That's just someone who's transgendered. So somebody that might be biologically female or woman has become a man, but they still have the plumbing of a woman, so they can become pregnant. So trans men can become pregnant. That's how. That's the only way it is. That's what they're talking about. All right, I see Felix saying not a dodo. Says something about I'm 10 miles away from you, but I don't see a question from him. So sorry if I'm missing it. I'm scrolling through. I'm not seeing anything. Beats by Jay, are there any theoretical ways to harness a hurricane similar to a Dyson sphere? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to encapsulate it. So you have to like put a cap over the hurricane, but that would quickly dissipate all the energy inside of it because it needs sunshine. It needs the sunshine, keeping that ocean water warm, and it needs to be able to pull in from outside because it's a low pressure system, so it's got to suck in lots of air. I don't know if we could do it other than just a whole bunch of windmills. That might be the only way I could harness a hurricane. But you get hurricane force winds on a windmill just tears itself apart. So maybe lots of little baby windmills might be able to do it. Legacy 10 Productions, Houston, AMC Entertainment Holdings tokenized stock is being listed on Coinbase and other apps. What the heck is this? It's a scam, I think. They have GME. They tokenized GME as well. What they did was they took the number of shares, they made them into coins, and they just trade them at the same price of whatever the stock is trading. And I don't think they represent anything legit. I think they're just a coin. It's like, hey, we're just gonna make 73 million coins, call it AMC, and see people buy it. That's what it seems like to me. I don't see any other useful benefit out of it. I think it's all just kind of scam. A lot of that stuff was just scam. Speaking of scams, US dollar tether coin is a scam. 80% of all Bitcoin trades are using US dollar tether coin, and they have stolen all of your money. It is gone. So if you want to trade in your tether coin for cash, they don't have your cash anymore. It does not exist. They took over $60 billion of other people's money, and they just vanished with it. So there's somebody out there who's really, 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 really cash rich right now, and we don't know who they are or where they are. They successfully laundered all your money, offshored it because it started off as an offshore company in the British Virgin Islands, and they took your cash, and it's gone. Absolutely gone. All right. Oh, super chat from Space Monkey. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, share. Oh, thank you. Yes, I always forget. Like and subscribe, hit the alert bell, share, and I always forget to join the Patreon. I've been pretty bad about saying that. But by all means, join the Patreon. Send me weird crap to my P.O. box. I don't know if you saw the shirt I got yesterday. It says, Lothario Cowboy. And it says, your wife is on the back of my horse. Or something like that. It's hilarious. It's a whale skeleton, says Felix. Ah, okay, thank you. In the salt ponds. Making salt out, sea salt out there. Lunar Swan goes to Black Dragon Taekwondo Studio. It's a good name for a Taekwondo studio. Luis Rojas says, Houston, look for the Chapi gold mine in Arequipa, Peru. Chapi gold mine. Is this the gold mine that is up above, like the... What's the name of that valley? The one where all the asparagus comes from. Sorry. Let me go scene. Control V, Peru. Let's go south. Chapi gold mine. Is this the one? Oh, looks like we got several gold mines. Okay. Chapi gold mine. Let's see if we can make this successful. Let's see if that works. Oh, here we go. Chapi? Is this the one? Doesn't look like the one where the... Whoa, look at that. So the big blue dome there. This doesn't look like a gold mine at all. That's a big old weird cross thing. Was it a gold mine? And then they turned it into... Huh. Well, here you go. Parking lot. Can I go somewhere? Can I go over there? I'm stuck. I can't go any further. Well, there's some sort of like a visitor center or something here. But I can't go. It won't let me move. Let me move. I want to go. I want to go elsewhere. Exit Street View. So what part is that? That looks like this part right here. So this must be a giant building in there. And then you... Can I go on the other side? I don't know what's going on. What are you big weird blue thing? Yeah, that's weird. Luis Rojas, that's a weird thing. Out in the middle of nowhere. It's like an old gold mining pit that they turned into something. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Weird spots around the world, man. Christopher Sawchuk, my roundhouse to tornado kick, although predictable, is flawless. Legacy Net Productions Houston, what's your thoughts about the ghost town recently uncovered in a reservoir due to drought in Utah? Yeah, there's several like that. There's one that keeps popping up in Lake Mead as well in Nevada. That was like an old Mormon town. See here. I might have to turn on. One sec. Wait for a whole bunch of pins to show up. I think I have it pinned. Is it Nelson? No, Nelson isn't it. No, where are you? It's along Lake Mead. It's over here. Yeah, where are those foundations? Where are those foundations? Somewhere. You can see the shoreline changes, and somewhere along here is an old ghost town. The foundations pop up, but lots of towns got buried by these lakes. You know, just like when they made the Three Gorges Dam in China, they had to displace a whole bunch of people to do it. So some of the towns just like, well, you're done. The government bought your land. That's it. Other times they made big lakes like these are like all ghost towns or places I've visited or want to visit. That's a lot. We'll just turn that off because that's too much for anyone's brain to look at. So like Lake Roosevelt. Let's do Marcus, Washington. There we go. So Lake Roosevelt was formed from the creation of the Grand Coulee Dam along the Columbia River. And there's this little tiny little timber town called Marcus here. And prior to this lake forming as a result of damming the Columbia River, the town of Marcus was right here. So they just picked up most of the town and moved it uphill to where it wouldn't get flooded. And now there's a little town here. And you can actually scuba dive, apparently. You can find old relics, tin cups, things that are left behind in the old town of Marcus that was in here. Might be able to see. Yeah. So here, there you go. Under the water. See that? There's the town of Marcus. That's pretty cool. That's the preserved town of Marcus under the lake of Lake Roosevelt. Ta-da! There's Timber Town under the water. That's pretty cool, huh? And then this is the town that exists today. Ring. So, not very many people still there. I used to do a summer camp when I was in high school. That I was like a counselor out there. But yeah, there's people that go scuba diving through these buildings and find all sorts of cool stuff that was left behind. It's pretty rad. Pretty rad. There's other places like that around the country where these lakes formed as a result of giant dams, like the Columbia. There you go. The Grand Coulee Dam was the largest dam in the world at one time. Crazy. All right. Go back to Big Houston. Bing. I don't know if you guys noticed my dragon shirt today. I'm wearing a dragon shirt. Got a big old dragon on it. I was talking with somebody. It reminded me of a hilarious story. So I know it's not Valentine's Day, but my favorite Valentine's Day story ever was I worked in this bar. It's probably 2007, 2006, somewhere around there. And we had this couple that would come in, and the wife was, she's a pretty middle-aged blonde lady, and the husband looked like William H. Macy. And they were from Wisconsin, and they had very thick Wisconsin accents. And they would come, it was almost like performance art. Like they would come to the bar, they would get in arguments in front of everybody, and they were just magical arguments. Absolutely the most splendid, weird. I wouldn't doubt if they were some sort of guerrilla improv group. I don't know what. I haven't seen them in years. But one Valentine's Day, the woman's at the bar. She's got her glass of wine, and she's got this little bag, and she's writing little love notes. She's writing little love notes. She's folding them up and carefully putting them in the bag, little love notes, putting them in the bag, little love notes, putting them in the bag for like hours, sipping her wine, writing little love notes to her husband. And her husband comes in from work. He sits down, and she's like so excited to see him, and she hands him the bag, and he just says, "Just because I'm married to you doesn't mean I have to love you." And she screams at him, "You're the one who took away my dragon shirts and forever changed the course of my life," and then stormed out. And that I just want to picture this woman with her amazing collection of dragon shirts, and her husband just throwing them away or something. Oh, so whenever I got talking with somebody about the other day, I was like, I'm going to wear a dragon shirt in honor of that poor lady who was trying to make her husband feel loved on Valentine's Day, and he just wanted to have a Manhattan and ignore everything in existence. So, yeah, wearing a dragon shirt. You're the one who took away my dragon shirts and forever changed the course of my life. Those are some powerful dragon shirts. If that's what's happening. Okay. Ed Willich, what are they doing to keep this market from crashing? Just seems sketchy. They're doing, I think a lot of it is fake. Like the market is a giant bubble that does not have a lot of substance to it. We've got supply chain issues. We've got cash flow issues. We've got employment issues. Think about, we have 700,000 to 1 million people who have died just in the United States from COVID. Right, we have we've got 2 million premature retirees, unexpected retirees. We've got 3 million women who are working in the workforce who aren't returning because they're taking care of their kids because they can't afford childcare. We have, 10 to 15% of the 40 or so million infected people with COVID who are basically disabled now. They've got long COVID. Their heart rate hasn't slowed down from 120 beats a minute. They've got vision problems, brain fog. They're basically disabled and they can't return to the workforce. So we're seeing, 5 million or more folks that should be working that can't right now or won't. And that's kind of where we're sitting right now. So there's a lot of small companies, restaurants, small mom pop shops that are on reduced hours because they can't find the workforce to be open all the time. I'm sure in places where all of you live, restaurants that used to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner might only be open for dinner. It might only be open 5 nights a week because there just aren't enough people to wash dishes or wait tables. There's a lot of folks that upgraded over COVID to new jobs, or maybe they're hosting a YouTube show. I don't know. They're finding other things to do that are not necessarily what they're doing before. So I think a large part of the stock market is being supported via corporate stock buybacks, so that the price of these stocks are being inflated above what the fundamentals for the stock, for the company, say the price should be. We've got tons of cash that was dumped into the markets to keep everything from crashing, and that stuff is still settling. We've got a real estate bubble that's exploded in China, and we've got hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in debt that's never going to be paid back. Evergrande is they're going to default. Sicknick defaulted. Was it Gold Fairmont? What was the third one that went under? I can't remember the name, but none of them are going to be paying their bonds back. So right now, I think everything's just kind of like, if you're a kid and you think your childhood is pretty awesome, and then you find out all of a sudden your parents are getting divorced, not realizing that behind closed doors, their lives were miserable with each other. I think that's kind of where the economy is right now. We're like, la, 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 playing with our toys, having a good time. Meanwhile, mom and dad are like, I hate you. I want to get divorced. And the kids aren't just hearing it. And eventually, one of them's moving out. And the economy's going to go, oh no, things weren't as good as we thought it was. And we're in that like kind of la la land stage at the moment. The disembodied remains of manifest density. I'm a chef. I never stopped working during COVID. We're open same hours, but I have no employees. This is not sustainable. I am so tired. Exactly. That's exactly like the burnout right now for restaurant workers is insane. The folks who stayed on because they're doing delivery everywhere, they're working day in, day out, doing delivery or takeout. And the folks who were furloughed because of the shutdowns and not being able to have seating inside, they found other things to do. So they're not coming back. They're like, why would I go work a 12-hour shift for my feet to hurt on this concrete floor when I can, get my degree in graphic design, when I can work in this nice office, when I can do they're finding other things to do. So I think we're really genuinely going to have a huge shortage of restaurant workers, and quite frankly, we need immigrant labor into the United States. In just the Seattle area alone, just the Seattle metro area, we need over 50,000 restaurant workers right now. That's how short we are in restaurant workers for the entire Seattle metro area is 50,000 workers. Now extrapolate that across the whole of the United States. There's 100 cities comparable to Seattle size or larger, and they probably all need 50,000 workers each. So, that right there is 5 million short restaurant workers for the whole of the metropolitan areas of the United States. And guess how many guess how many workers can't make it to work anymore because they died, they got injured, they had to retire early, they have to take care of their kids. About 5 million people. So, yeah, we need immigrants. And the more we make it hard for immigrants to come here, the more we're going to be facing problems like this. I talked about before, 15 years ago, you work in a restaurant and it'd be nothing but mariachi music playing from the kitchen. And you go to a restaurant now and it's just a bunch of overworked folks and there's no immigrants in there. yeah, we need to be enticing folks into the United States to be able to take those jobs because obviously we're not doing it, and we want the services. So, meh, that's where we are. Good point. Manifest density. Okay. Houston Wade, what is your favorite natural phenomena? Ooh. Well, there's natural phenomena I really, really want to see that I haven't seen. But like I would love to see a St. Elmo's fire. I've never seen that. It's a plasma ball. They're quite terrifying. I would love to see volcano lightning. That'd be pretty awesome. Fire tornado. That'd be really cool. I've never seen those. I've never seen the Aurora Borealis. I was in Hawaii last week, and the Aurora Borealis, all my friends in Seattle were posting beautiful pictures of the Aurora Borealis. And every time I go to Hawaii, the Aurora Borealis happens in Seattle. Just, that's the way it goes, man. I can't win. At least I got to see the lava this time around. What other cool natural phenomena I'd love to see? Where's the forest where the tree roots are all connected together, and when the wind blows, the earth looks like it's undulating? I would want to see that too. That'd be a cool place to go. It's like a weird bed of moss that like holds all the tree roots down, and so the whole forest just undulates as the trees wiggle back and forth. Man, I'll think some of those. That's a good question. But things I've seen, think about when you see stuff, it no longer becomes a phenomenon. It just kind of becomes this natural thing that your brain is used to seeing. I love watching waves peel. Just like, it's beautiful. I could sit and watch waves all day long. I like really gnarly system front cloud formations, like when the sky turns green in the Midwest, it's gonna be really dangerous. And there's a tornado coming. I just love looking at that stuff. Lenticular clouds are awesome. If you have a chance to look up, see lenticular clouds, look like alien spaceships. Remember the first time I realized that I was with my family, we're driving across the country, and I was stuck in the back seat of the station wagon with like all of our camping gear piling onto me, just stuck looking out the window, getting sick all the time because I couldn't see where we were going. But we were in South Dakota driving across, and there's just this one weird lenticular cloud that looked like an alien mothership sitting out there. That's pretty awesome. Good question. What's your favorite weird natural phenomena? Yeah. Josiah Daly says, Mark Cahodes says that short hedge funds can easily cover their shorts, including the billions of synthetic shorts against AMC. He's advocating for apes to organize. MOAS still on the table? Well, I mean, the only way they can do lots of things to cover, but can they close? That's the question. They can cover synthetics with more synthetics. They can reset FTDs. They can do all these things to make it look like they're fine. But that's not closing a position. Closing a position involves actually getting out of it, and the only way you can get out of it is by dumping a bunch of money on folks. So let's do the calculator. Let's do the calculator right here. Turn off Chrome. Turn off Google Earth. There's the calculator. So let's say that right now there's a 500 million short. So there's 500 million real shares, 500 million synthetics out there for AMC, right? They can cover this by having the market makers make a whole bunch of in the money calls and puts and generate a whole bunch of synthetics that go out in the market, and they just say, oh, look at this, these shares exist, I'm covered. That's not closing. To close right now at $41 a share, right? Means they need to come up with $20.5 billion cash to close those positions. That's if there's only 500 million synthetics. They don't have that cash. They don't. They don't have it. And if they're going to close on AMC, it means they have to close on everything else. It means they have to close on BlackBerry and Nokia and BBig and Bed Bath & Beyond and Emrin and Clover and GME. They're going to have to close on all these things. And they have a bunch of liabilities with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these companies. And if they have to do $20.5 billion on every single one of those suckers, they're toast. So I don't think they have the ability to close their positions. They always have the ability to cover. That's all they've been doing is they've been covering and covering and covering, but they're not closing. And at this point, covering is just masking what they're doing. Jonathan K. Houston, any ideas on solving homelessness permanently? Yes, actually. If you go to my recorded videos, episode 2 is all about that. The quickest, easiest way to solve homelessness in the United States is to create universal health care. That's it. Make sure everyone's covered, not tied to a job, and anyone who has an ailment of any kind can go get medical service for it. Because homelessness is largely people with psychosis, mental health problems, people with addiction problems, and folks with issues with trauma. Those are the 3 main categories of chronic homelessness. There's other folks who are situational. They lost a job, laid off, lost their home. Those generally don't stay homeless the way that folks with chronic illness, mental illness, addiction problems, or trauma do. And so if you can get those folks into treatment facilities and you can get them physically housed, you've gone a long way into solving homelessness. Other nations don't let schizophrenics wander the streets. They go, oh, you're schizophrenic. We're going to make sure you're medicated or institutionalized because that's where you need to be. That's how we keep you off the streets and keep you, save everybody money. The Seattle area, because that's where I'm from, that's what I'm familiar with. So $200 million a year of the $400 million police budget is devoted to dealing with homeless issues. So half of the police budget. If you want to defund the police, you solve homelessness and that will cut the police budget in half, right? $200 million of the city budget, so we're at $400 million bucks, is devoted to dealing with homelessness. Now imagine if you just built $200 million in housing every year with that money rather than $200 million of whatever the hell it is they're doing, right? So now we're at $400 million of just taxpayer money for the city of Seattle itself to deal with homelessness. And then you have another $900 million in charity, Union Gospel Mission, Salvation Army, I don't know all the groups, but another $900 million spent through charity donations on homelessness. So we're at $1.3 billion is spent on homelessness in just Seattle alone. And Seattle has 12,000 chronic homeless, which comes out to like $108,000 per homeless person per year in the city of Seattle. Now, if you would just cut a check for $108,000 and handed it to those folks, right? You'd be accomplishing just as much as what you're doing now via the tax dollars spent by the police in the city and the donation dollars spent by charity to try and stop homelessness. And the thing is that you're going to keep spending this money over and over and over and over and not get anywhere until you get these people the health care they desperately need. Because they need to be treated for their chemical imbalances. They need to be treated for their psychosis. They need to be treated for their chronic diseases. They need to be treated for their addictions. They need to be treated for their trauma. I mean, you got folks that were abused as children, kicked out of their house before being LGBTQ. They get stuck on get addicted to drugs because what else are you going to do? Your life sucks. You may as well escape for a while. And we need a society to show them the love, care, and compassion that we're capable of. And that's the stuff that will get people out of homelessness. And so, yeah, that's key number 1 to solving homelessness is to make sure everybody has health care and that they get the care they need. Because, if you're addicted to drugs, your options are to maybe make it to some NA or AA meetings or to go to some really, really, really expensive rehab facility that makes their entire living off of you relapsing and going back into hospital again. So, Hollywood person can spend $30,000 to $60,000 a month to get off drugs, but a homeless person can't. So they're going to be shooting up an alleyway somewhere, getting drunk, fall down off of Mad Dog 2020 or whatever it is, and we need to just one by one get them treatment and get them off the streets. Mental health facilities were a big portion of that when we closed the mental health facilities. In the 1950s, 600,000 Americans who needed permanent housing because of their mental illness were housed, and now we have a fraction of that. We don't really have the sanitariums anymore that would house those folks. We cut all the budgets for it. So, yeah, that's how you solve homelessness. I go into more depth in that episode. I think it was back in May or June when I posted that sucker. But it's episode 2 of the recorded podcast, and I haven't really done recorded ones because you guys want me to do live shows, so I do that. Okay. Peter Donnelly asks, thoughts on why no one but you and maybe Charlie are covering GME on YouTube? There were far more YouTubers early on who were covering GME but moved to AMC quite quickly. I don't know. There are quite a few people that do AMC shows. I think because post Baby Squeeze, the cost of entry into AMC was much lower than GME, that a lot more folks whose finances were tighter were like, I'm going to go for AMC. And so there's just naturally a larger audience for it. And maybe that's why you see more AMC folks making videos. But yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. But I'll talk about anything. So, I don't know if I'm considered a GME guy, but I am more heavily invested in GME, but yeah, but I'll talk about anything. Okay. Got about 20 minutes or so left in my brain here. I got to take this dog for a walk. She is miserable. Okay. Christopher Sawchuk says, if you need a bad sushi chef, got your back. Yeah. Oh, man, I love sushi. Not sushi, but still Japanese cuisine. When I was a little kid, I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. My oldest sister got a job as a waitress at the Benihana in Seattle. And so she was like, hey, I can get you guys a discount. Family come to Benihana. Because, I was like stoked because I just, in all the movies, they're all like flipping stuff around and doing such crazy things with their knives. And I was like, let's do this. I'm so excited. And we got a discount because we got this dude who was training. He was like, oh! It was the biggest letdown I ever had in my entire life. So, yeah. But yeah, I got to learn somehow. And he was learning. Okay. Cindy Ogden, lots of people became stock and real estate investors during the pandemic. Yep, they did. A lot of them did. I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We're investing. Oh shoot, lot of where to go. All right, there it was. Okay. Antonio Baez says, I'm against immigrants to fill the workforce, pay employees more, create better working conditions, and employees will come. This is another part of it, is that you have to pay people living wages. I mean, why? People work to make a living, so they should make a living wage to do work. Makes sense to me. I won't do a job where I'm not making a living wage. Screw that. Screw you. Anyone who demands work of me and isn't willing to pay me for that work, enough for that work, then I'm not doing it. So why should anyone else? Just for Sawchuk, is your favorite natural phenomena boners? Mine is. J-Star, is any room on Bainbridge Island for maybe 10,000 Haitians? Yeah, probably. I mean, we are a very... Bainbridge Island's the the size of Manhattan, and Manhattan has like 2 million people on it. We only have 25,000, so there's plenty of room. Just build up. Okay. Is spontaneous combustion real or just flammable materials? Protege Sun. Well, I mean, if it's spontaneous human combustion, that's something. That's what's that song? Spontaneous human combustion, a funeral fire, a burning desire, instant cremation. I can't remember what that's from. Some 60s hippie book. But there is spontaneous combustion. I could think of a couple instances in nature. So let's say that there's trees that fell in a forest and they got covered with ash, with lots of leaves, with detritus, a landslide, things like that. This stuff can bake and bake and bake and bake and bake and bake, and actually as it decays, the heat from that decay gets trapped, and they'll actually catch on fire. There's instances where people are walking in a forest and they step on a patch that of this decaying stuff, and their foot falls into what is essentially the former core of a tree, and just flames shoot out of the ground. Basically get a backdraft and they burn themselves really bad. So there's spontaneous combustion in that right. I'll have to find out if there's other instances of spontaneous combustion that happen like that. Okay. Homer's Ghost says, I grew up in the Canadian Arctic, can attest to the beauty of the Aurora Borealis. Definitely recommend. Likely best without minus 30C would be October. Noted. All right. To go visit some friends up in northern Canada or Alaska in October. Okay. Will MOAS be a natural phenomena? Hey, there's people hooking up, getting some jobs done here. Awesome. Fantastic. Kilhune Mendiola. Did I say that right? Kilhune? Houston AMC 11% short interest in GME report. After the fact, AA made the offering directly to hedge funds. Does that hurt us? I don't think it helps. But I think the short hedge funds just use that stuff to short even more. So my guess is they probably dug themselves a hole even deeper. Different Lime asks, hypothetically, if I had 200 AMC and 20 GME, and if I was to increase that position at the existing 10-to-1 ratio, would that be a solid strategy? All hypothetically, of course. I mean, it kind of, in my brain, that kind of makes sense because the float of GME is basically 1/10 the float of AMC. Yeah, I mean, makes sense to me. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Phoebe Dunk. It's got something in the tropics here. What we got in the tropics, Phoebe? Google Earth. Flying to the tropics. No, we're not tropics. Wait, -3? Oh, sorry, the other way. All right. Not the tropics. Where'd I click on? Oh, no, it's 3 west, 3 east, sorry. Not south. This looks like an old castle. What old castle is this? This is Conway Castle. Are we back in Ireland? I wasn't really paying attention when we went that way. We are... No, we're in England. Sorry. I knew we went somewhere over there. Conway Castle. Zooming in. Zooming in. Got some train tracks next to Conway Castle. Got a highway next to Conway Castle. Come on, get all the way in there. Show it to me. Oh, it's a beauty. Look at that. Gorgeous. It's cool bridges. I like that the train goes through Conway Castle. Like, what is up? What's up? Like, when was this built to fit Conway Castle here? Got a nice estate viewing upon Conway Castle. It's a nice little town. What a pleasant little town. I think restoring castles should be a prime directive for many European municipalities. Putting roofs on things again, making them all pretty on the inside. I'm all for that. Good spot. Good spot there, Phoebe. Oh, got super chat. Super chat from Eric D. What's up, Houston? How's your Wednesday going? My transfer to Fidelity just went through today. Woohoo! Here's some coordinates. Okay. Looks like we're back in the British Isles still. So not too far from where we are. Wing. Wait, same ones? No. They're not copy? Paste. There we go. Sorry. Ding. We're going north. We're going north. Where are we going? We're going right here. Excuse me. We are next to a building. Looks like a fancy building. What's going on? What is this building? What is this place you're taking me? Is it another giant fish? Okay, so we are on the street. We are next to a building. We are... Where are we going? We can go all sorts of different directions here. Are we university? Where are we? This is really weird. How the floor moves and then everything else moves. That's so weird. Oh, can't see anything. Scene. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Could you see the castle? Was I on? Shoot. Oop. All right. What's that say? Oops. What the heck? Looks like I'm at a college. What college am I on? City Center? Great North Museum? Student Union? Kings Road? I don't know what I'm looking at. What am I looking at, Eric D? I'm on some university campus. I just review. Armstrong Building. Courtyard Restaurant. That's a cool looking building. Look at that thing. That's pretty awesome. The weird thing about colleges around the world is that they all look the same. Doesn't really matter where you are. That's a nice football pitch there. St. James Park. All right. Our soccer pitch. Grandpa Barney. Grandpa's over 2,000 hours so far trying to keep the lights on in Kitsap County because even we are shorthanded. Oh, you're in Kitsap also? Man. It's everyone's short. I don't think there's a single restaurant I know of that's back to pre-COVID hours because they can't find the workers. There's not a single one. Everybody's hurting. So, yeah, it's going to be a weird couple of years for sure, just based on that alone. Okay. Yep, he didn't use the offering money to pay off debt. That's the big thing. Is that why was that money used to pay off debt? Kilihune, Mendiola, for AA or for AMC is that GME, they sold their shares and they sold the minimum amount and they did so over a long period of time as not to affect the share price too much. And then they paid off their debt, and now they've paid off all their debt, but they've got like $1.5 billion cash on hand, which is a lot of money to do a lot of things. Get real. Does Washington State and East Coast states don't have free healthcare for people? They do. There's Medicaid available for folks that don't have jobs, but it's really hard to get Medicaid when you don't have a home or an address in which you can get a card, or even know how to apply or have the internet to access, healthcare.gov or whatever for your various states. So I think that's the big issue. I think the issue needs to be in the United States is that you don't have to get health insurance. Just by existing, you have health insurance. I think that needs to be the change, in that you don't have to jump through hoops and apply for things. It's just, if you're a human being, you're in the United States, you're covered, and just treat it that way. We spend 1/7 or 1/6 of our entire economy on healthcare, and we still have tens of millions of people that aren't covered by it. So, that's ridiculous. And then we pay out of pocket. We spend 2 to 3 times more than the next most expensive country for healthcare, and it's bonkers. If we had a national healthcare system like Great Britain, and granted, the Tories are trying to destroy the national healthcare system in Great Britain, but if we had a national healthcare system and we paid per person what United Kingdom does right now, the amount of money we'd spend on healthcare is the equivalent of what we spend on just Medicare right now. $1.4 trillion is what we spend on Medicare every year. And we could spend that amount on every single solitary person in the United States and have them all covered. The problem is that our private health insurance system makes healthcare extremely expensive. We have 800,000 doctors, and we've got 1.5 million administrators. That's silly. We need to be having a focus on people, treating people and getting them healthcare, than the money changers who have to pass money back and forth to make sure it happens. There's more administrators in a hospital than there are doctors and nurses. So, if you want to save money, you get rid of those administrators. You get rid of them. Just do everything at cost and done. I don't think healthcare should be for profit. I think it should be completely non-profit, just like I think utilities should be non-profit as well. Just get it done. It's too important to the economy, too important to humanity. Just get it done. Treat people. Okay. Monroe Tyner, where are we on Sears holding? You're holding. That's all you can do. We're waiting for the bankruptcy hearings to be updated every month. The next one's next week. I'm sure they'll give us an update as to how many stores they have left, what cash they have on hand, what their debts. I think last month, their hearing on the 27th of September said they still owed $81 million, but didn't really talk about what assets they still had on hand and how much those were worth. Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I was scrolling trying to find a question. You guys are having lots of good chats in here. Okay. Someone was asking... Anna Rulnick's asking, Matt Kors popped in the show last time, so I get a little flustered. What real celebrities have you met or want to meet? Well, okay, who have I met? Clive Owen. I got to hang out with Clive Owen at the the Prix de Champs-Élysées, which is a big horse race in France. I had a friend that worked at a Scottish pub in Paris, and apparently every year they shut down the pub. Everybody hops on a bus and travel out to the horse track to watch horse races. It's like one of the largest purse horse races in the world. And unbeknownst to me, I'm chatting with this guy who has got this kind of helmet head of hair. Looked like the type of hair you put on a Lego person. And he's a British dude. And turns out he was an actor, done like soap operas and stuff like that. And there's another British guy. And for like hours chit-chatting with these dudes. And my friend was like, you do realize that's Clive Owen you're talking to over there. And it's the second dude. And I'm like, oh shit, that is Clive Owen. So yeah, I watched a horse race with Clive Owen. He apparently likes to go to that pub and play billiards because my friend had been on the Scottish national team for billiards and they hit it off. And now Clive hangs out in Paris and plays billiards all the time there. Elizabeth Mitchell lives where I live. Linda Evans. Carl Weathers lives on Whidbey Island, but he's come to my island. I waited on Martha Stewart when I worked in a restaurant. There's quite a few people on Bainbridge. Some of the rockers from like Soundgarden and Nirvana and whatnot live here. That's a lot of authors. When I was 17, my brother was working at Oakley and had one backstage pass to the G-Shock surf competition in Huntington Beach, California. So my sister and I were like taking the band off and trading so we could go backstage and hang out with the surfers. And I was in like this little, I don't know what you call it. It's like a little grandstand, but it was like for the wives and whatnot, and they had food and drinks. And I'm standing there and I'm watching, and I get this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and there's like no one there. I feel like I just got ding-dong ditched. And I got this tap on my shoulder, and can you move? And I turn around, and it's Pamela Anderson, and she's like that tall. She's like, I can't see. And that's back when she was dating Kelly Slater. So I met Pamela Anderson that way because I was too tall, gangly teenager in her way. I met Drew Carey once at a grocery store in California. He was very nice. Is that it? Are those my celebrities? I think that might be my list of celebrities I've met. Okay. I've met baseball players. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that counts. Baseball players. Okay. Cindy Ogden, AMC to announce a partnership with GME soon. Adam Aaron says different services to be announced in a few weeks. Possibly. I think it'd be brilliant if AMC theaters would do gaming competitions. So I think that'd be awesome. Funko Fan 5000. Stir your compost, people. Definitely stir your compost. That's why they have those like drums that spin around that you put your compost in, so that you don't like have things burst into flames on you. Tropical TV, you can get spontaneous combustion in round hay balls if you roll them up wet. Yeah, that would make sense. You want that stuff to be dry. You don't want those chemical reactions, all those little creatures doing all sorts of things. Methane, baby. Okay. Got a couple minutes here, and then I gotta take this dog for a walk because she is just needing it so bad. All right. It's in Wales. Oh, that castle I saw was in Wales. Peter Smith says, not in England. Sorry, I know. I'll make all the people. If I get the wrong country inside the UK, they will definitely get upset. Anna Rulnick has got somewhere near the equator, it looks like. Let's see what she's got for us. Flying around the world. We are going to this island right here. It's an atoll. It is a berm. Oh, Nauru. This is the island that they completely mined the entire surface of for phosphates, and it like became a moonscape, right? This one I'm thinking of. Sorry, you guys can't see this part. Yeah, the only airline apparently stopped going there. Crazy. Yeah, so they mined this entire island, and the people, the elite of Nauru made a pile of money off all the phosphates that were mined here. And I think the Australian government is keeping refugees or something here that they don't want inside their country. They're paying to have them here in like camps, if I remember correctly. But I don't know what this thing is in the center. What are you? You're a little weird swirly thing. Interesting. Interesting. And Bar District. New District. How big is Nauru? Where's my... There it is. It's in miles. So it is 3 miles long and almost 3 miles wide. So 3.5 miles long, 3 miles wide. That's a very, very tiny island. My island is 12 by 4, and it seems pretty small. Goodness gracious. All right. Cool. Oh, super chats. Jack C. Lee, so I'm saying that right. What will happen to loop ring stock if they did open up a marketplace for GME? Way up. I think they would do very well. Do they trade? Is loop ring publicly traded? I have no idea. Okay, turn on the Google Earth, turn on the Chrome. Go to the Chrome. Loop ring stock. LRC. Loop ring price today is loop ring coin. Loop ring coin. So is this the stock? Or is this the coin? I have no idea. Max supply, no, it might be the coin. Do they have a stock? Stock twits. LRCX. That's giving me the same price. That's crypto. I don't think they have a stock. They're Jack C. I think they just have their coin. And maybe that's equivalent. Maybe you just buy their coin, you're just buying it from them, and that keeps them afloat or something. I have no idea. Interesting. Something to look at. Something definitely to look at. All right, Big Houston. And we got one from Grandpa Barney again. Grandpa is one of your PSC Electric first responders on Bainbridge. Love your show, my brother. Oh, welcome. Right on. Got a lineman on the show. Yeah. Keep in mind. You know what? I'm in a weird place on the island where everyone else loses power constantly, but for some reason I don't. It might blink for us, and then my, sewage flood alarm goes or something, and then my battery backup for my computer makes beepy noises. But everyone else will be out of power for like hours, and then for some reason I'm not. People across the street will be out of power. I'm not. I love it. So thank you, Grandpa Barney. Thank you for making sure that my house is the one that has power more often than everyone else. Yeah. Grandpa Barney, were you around in the early 90s when we had like the crazy storms? Those things were... December 1990, we had 2 huge storms come in. The first one happened around the final days of school for winter term. And the storm came out of nowhere, dropped 2 feet of snow, 110 mile an hour winds. And the street I lived on, I might as well bring up the Google Earth for that, because I can show you guys. Google Earth. Google Earth. Let's get out of the Pacific. Let's get out of the Pacific and go to the North Pacific. There we go. Back to Bainbridge. So I grew up on this little street in the north end of the island called Sparger Loop. And it is this little loop right here. I grew up right where the S-curve is, right there. And this street is about a mile long. And we had 70 trees that went across the street, and we were trapped for weeks. And we were out of power for about 3 weeks. And good thing we had a wood stove, but we had to melt snow in the bathtub to get drinking water and to like sponge bath ourselves. I was 9 years old when this happened. And by the time the power came back on 3 weeks later, we got hit with another storm right before New Year's and knocked the power out for another 2 weeks. So we were living quite the frontier life there for a while, melting everything on the stove so we could drink water and cook with it. But yeah, so we haven't had a big storm like that knock out power in quite a while. The last really, really big one, I think, was the Hanukkah Eve storm in 2006, but I was in Hawaii graduating from college. But like 125 mile an hour sustained wind swath went from north of Vancouver to south of Portland and just across the entire region. people were without power for days while my family was like sunning ourselves in Hawaii, watching my brother surf 30-foot waves or get creamed by those waves anyway. Yeah, we get some good storms up here every once in a while. Digdy. Houston, is crypto being pumped? Thoughts on XRP? Yes, crypto is being definitely pumped. And the last time it got pumped like this, it crashed 50% a month later. So we saw highs in April this year, and then by June, down, done. No longer anything exciting about it. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more question, and I gotta take this dog for a walk before it gets dark outside because we are in the dark, gloomy days of fall, and that's what happens. Okay. Oh, maybe two more questions. Because Tamas Lucci asks, Houston, why don't evergreens change with other foliage? They do. The pine needles are the leaves of those trees, and lots of them turn brown and fall off in the fall. Just that so many of them enough of them still stay greens. That's why they're evergreen. That's kind of the trick that evergreens do. Whereas other trees have big giant leaves, and all those leaves fall off because they don't have little teeny tiny itty bitty leaves like needled trees, where they respirate their water out. And Grandpa Barney, yes, Inauguration Day storm, PSE, 35 years. Yeah, Inauguration Day storm was gnarly. That was when Bill Clinton was being inaugurated. We got hit with essentially a hurricane on January 20th, 1993, which is also the last time I had the flu. I haven't had the flu in, almost 30 years, 28 years. So that's something. I was deathly ill with the flu, and the power was out for a week. So I remember someone like ringing the doorbell. I was a little kid. Someone ringing the doorbell, maybe 12 at the time, 11, 12. And I had a blanket over me, and I got up to go answer the door, and I just kind of fell asleep in the dining room before I got to the door, and I have no memory of ever answering the door or not. But that was the last time I had the flu. It was Inauguration Day storm. My sister had the flu too, and my mother was in nursing school, and so she couldn't stay home with us. So she went to the rental, video rental place and got trilogies. So we watched, Lethal Weapon trilogy. We watched Mad Max. We watched Star Wars. We watched 48 Hours. We watched Beverly Hills Cop, and just passing out from here and there from whatever flu it was we had gotten. Cameron Mirza. Got some coordinates here. The world's largest nickel. Okay, I have to might do one more coordinate and then finally take this poor dog for a walk. All right, got to click this. Got to copy this next one here. Copy that. Put that in there and go. Nope. Cameron does not like those coordinates. 46, 46. Oops, wrong way. 46, 46. Where are we? 46. I don't know where to get 46, 46. 46. It's out in the middle of the ocean, isn't it? 46, 46. Somewhere in here. I don't know where large nickel will be in there, my man. Sorry. Can't get it. Can't get there. It's somewhere in there. It's 46, 46. But your coordinates is not liking them. 636, 81. Oh, whoops. That's repeating. Yeah, that's why. Okay. Let's try that again. Oh, here we go. It's 4681. We're in Sudbury? Where are we? What are you? Yeah, Sudbury. Yeah. So this is a impact site. So about 230 million years ago, a meteorite went slam-o-jamma into this part of Canada. It is an iron nickel meteorite. So a huge portion of the nickel mined on Earth comes from the Sudbury Basin here. There's just lots of metal alone on the Canadian Shield. That Abitibi Greenbelt goes up through here from New York essentially into Canada. You have Timmins, Ontario up in here where huge amounts of gold and silver and copper come from. But yeah, nickel comes from here, from Sudbury. So this is a big giant astrobleem that's been ground down by glaciers over the last 200 million years. It's a good spot. Good spot, Cameron. Sorry, I put the coordinates in wrong and screwed that up. Okay. That might be it for me, folks. It'll be a late night show on Friday because it's my dad's 85th birthday, and I got to go, give him a hug and eat some cake and have a good time with my family. And so look for a late night show Friday. I might do a late night Twitch show tonight. Yeah, I might do some GeoGuessr later tonight. So if you happen to be on, usually it's the Euros waking up with me when I'm playing that game. But yeah, all right, cool. Have a good day, everybody. I go back to Big Houston here, and I'll catch you all on Friday night. Ready? 1, 2, 3.